And joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, the head football coach at Poland High School, Ryan Williams. Coach Williams, how are you today, my friend?
Good, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You're entering your fifth year. Last year, Poland in the state semifinals. The ceiling is quite high for this football program, and after a tough loss to South Range, you guys have been back in the win trail and doing quite well for yourselves as you get prepared to take on a 4-0 Hubbard Eagles team. Talk about the success that you guys have had to this point this year, Coach.
We're started out a little behind. We had a situation here this summer with some of the coronavirus and had a couple weeks shut down right in the heart of double sessions. Actually missed 14 days of 2-a-days. So that kind of set us back. I mean, it kept been able to keep us focused, and we got to improve. And there's a lot of things that we got to get better at. And we've been kind of week by week making some strides and finding some new mistakes to make, that's for sure.
Well, the hallmark of your team beginning last year and bleeding into this year is that enormous, and I do mean enormous, offensive line. Carter Kellgren, 6'5", 315 pounds. He's committed to YSU. You got a junior in Ethan Frank. He's 6'4", 285. What in God's name are you feeding these kids down there?
They're a nice group of kids that have come through. I mean, we don't have a lot of linemen, but the ones we have are pretty good size, and offensive line play takes a little bit of time. We had to replace a couple guards, a couple tight ends, and so some of that it's finding the right combination, finding it takes time to develop that. That those early couple weeks of missed practice, kind of set us back a little bit. So we're working. Certainly, the frames are great. The bodies are great that are there, and we're fine tuning what we're doing and trying to refine a little bit and get those guys working as one unit, and we'll see what kind of potential that creates for us.
Well, speaking of potential, their job is to make sure the jersey of one Jack Fulton is clean, and he is a junior this year. He started as a sophomore last year. Here he is, second year as the starting quarterback. Talk a little bit about what Jack has done growth-wise, maybe not physically, but growth-wise in terms of the quarterback position from last year to this year.
Well, he certainly has worked hard on his craft. He's taken on a little bit more role with the pass packages and recognizing coverages and in fronts, and putting a little bit more on him. That, and he's really responded, and he's improved. Obviously with the summer we had, that's some of that stuff takes live reps. You got to see a live pass rush. You got to see live coverages, and and as we've progressed here the past couple weeks, he's really, made good on the off-season work that he's done in the weight room, and really looks the part and is handling himself like a returning starter there at the quarterback position.
Coach, I want to go back to 2019, and I know I'm probably chronologically out of order, and I apologize for that, but you can't teach experience, and the fact that you guys had 4 extra games to play as you were a playoff team and you got to the state semifinals, unfortunately losing to a Licking Valley team by 1 point in the state semifinals, but you had an opportunity to play 4 extra games. That is so much more important from an experience standpoint than any off-season weightlifting program. Would you agree with that? And the fact that you guys, your young kids, were given 4 extra games, is that going to help your program now and in the future?
Oh yeah, I mean certainly there's no substitute for experience. You have 3 of those offensive linemen, you mentioned Ethan, you mentioned Carter, Nate Williams at center, played 14 games there as well. And, the other thing I think, I don't even know if it gets mentioned, is it wasn't just the guys playing, but you also, those guys that were playing scout team and those backup guys, they got a lot of meaningful reps. I mean, those playoff practices are pretty intense. They were long. They were, so everybody involved that long of a season benefited from it in one way or another. Even if it was a scout team guy that now we're relying on, to get some meaningful reps, he had some, good practice time. I mean, albeit, almost a year ago, but still, to your point is that absolutely there's no substitute for game experience and preparation experience. That's for sure.
Poland takes on the Hubbard Eagles. Hubbard is 4-0 on the campaign. You guys are 3-1. It's in your place. Talk a little bit about Hubbard. What have you seen on film from Coach Hoffman's team that has impressed you?
Well, obviously the tailback in Caffee is he's very talented. He's kind of a low center of gravity. He's got a good burst to him. Got some breakaway speed as well. We've seen him pull away from some defenses, but he's a guy that can carry it 30 times a game and kind of take the grind that goes with that. And you never know when he's going to get a big run. That's the thing that he's a big play potential. Certainly, they always do a good job with their offensive line and their tight ends, and they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And the thing with Coach Hoffman over the years, and we've gone against him for his whole time at Hubbard, is he always finds a way to utilize his talent. He's got good backs, he gets them the ball. He's got good wideouts, so they're well coached. They utilize their talent. They've the big back up front. An offensive line is younger, but they're always well coached. They always know their schemes. They can adjust as the game goes on, and so they're a very formidable opponent, and that's why it's been such a kind of a rivalry game the past decade, I guess, is because they are they're well coached. They got good kids, and it has been a pretty good rivalry the past couple of years.
You guys were able to hammer them up in Hubbard 42-7 late in the regular season, week 9. Which, interestingly enough, you're playing this team in the penultimate week of the shortened 2020 campaign. I'm sure that you're going to have a bunch of angry Hubbard Eagle players that are going to want a little retribution from last year's game. Not that anything was going on. It was just when you lose 42-7, you want to get a little revenge the next year. Do you expect a hard hitting physical type of game on Friday night, Coach?
Oh, no doubt. They're a physical team. They like to run the football. We like to run the football. When you're coming off the kind of year we had, I mean, and we know that there's a target on your back. I mean, that's part of being here at Poland is that notion that you have to prepare to get everyone's best game. Whatever a team does best, you're going to get the best that they got. I mean, that's how we try to kind of teach our kids that and put that kind of chip on our shoulder all week long, that whoever you're playing, you're going to get their best. They want to beat you, and it kind of it always adds a layer to our preparation, I think.
Well, let me talk about that, because you guys coming off a state semifinal performance, the returning letterman, and you have 17, give or take a few, coming back this year. Did everyone after that loss to Licking Valley, the underclassmen, come together and say, we're going to be back and we're going to finish what we started this year?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that was, that's the next progression of goals is you want to achieve more than those that came before you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, generation, that's what, fathers to sons and et cetera. You hope to do better than those that came before you. And that's high expectations, and it's certainly not an easy task. That was a tremendous team last year, and a lot of things went our way as we went. But yeah, absolutely. Our seniors are committed to that, kind of at the sky's the limit, and let's go out and take care of this unfinished business. I mean, that's a special feeling walking out there on the field in week 14 at Paul Brown, and not one kid that was there will ever forget what that felt like. And so, absolutely, that's the goal to get back to that feeling and then get one more.
Let me ask you, as you guys are preparing for Hubbard, after this game, the coaches in Division 4, Region 13 are all going to get together. They're going to seed the teams top to bottom. Do you expect a high seed with your team for the upcoming tournament, Coach?
You know, Ron, I'll be honest with you. I haven't thought anything about it. We're still making, you know, what I see as, you know, scrimmage mistakes in ball games. We got to fix some things. I haven't really spent any time looking at that. You know, whoever they tell me we play, we'll prepare the team the best we can. I truly haven't thought much about that.
Let me ask then. You were talking about scrimmage type mistakes, and we're in a shortened season. Does that have anything to do with the fact that here we are coming up on week number 5? It would be halfway through a normal season, but being that it's a 6-week season, now we're toward the end of a COVID shortened season. The fact that we had COVID and there was doubts up until maybe the last week or so before the start of the regular season, if we were even going to have a regular season. Is that one of the main reasons why there could be mistakes, not just with you guys, but throughout high school football in the state of Ohio?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, you're saying it's close to the end of the season based on COVID, but if you look at the amount of time, you know, you took away 7-on-7, so there's a lot of, you know, formations and route packages and coverage things, mistakes that you need to fix. We lost 7-on-7 time, and we lost those scrimmages. I mean, you could argue that, you know, if week 1's a scrimmage too, I mean, this is like our second week, you know, or third week of the season, let alone it's 2 games at the end of the season. I mean, if you count, you know, normally you get 3 weeks of doubles and 2 scrimmages and some 7-on-7s, and like for us, we weren't in pads until the week before we played South. The week we played South Range was the first time we were in pads because we were off 14 days of. So, you know, yeah, we're making mistakes that should have been made in August and things that would have, you know, personnel, a little tweak here or there, finding you know, this kid can do this or this kid, you know, needs to be here. You know, we're doing that stuff now, and usually that's mid to late August stuff. You know, we really are. You know, just the nature of it is you get 3 weeks and 2 scrimmages, and we just haven't been there. So, you know, there's lots of mistakes, lots of coaching going on, lots of, you know, correcting, and lots of things that we're trying to improve upon. And yeah, it is the clock's ticking. You know, the season's, you know, kind of on paper wrapping up, but there's a lot of things that we're still at the early phases of kind of evaluating our team and our kids and putting the best product we can out there.
Coach, do you find with a veteran team under a normal circumstances, you would be teaching and not much coaching because, well, the guys are coached up and they're upperclassmen and most of the kids are seniors, so you not necessarily need to coach them, but teach them. It's more of coaching. Do you find that now that this season has been cut into the nth degree, do you find that you and your coaching staff are doing more teaching than coaching this year?
You know, our staff is great. Everyone on our staff, everybody on our staff is a teacher, you know, and most of them are teachers in our district. There's a few guys, but so, you know, I kind of see it as hand in hand. I mean, we've always prided ourselves on our kids being coachable, and the guys that are hired by the board to coach are good. They're good teachers first, and I think that it's kind of one and the same. I mean, it's you know, finding out what your kids can do and just ask them to do that, and you know, and evaluate them, hold them to that standard. And you know, I think that you know, I think we've been doing a lot of both here this summer, and you know, in a short period of time.
Well, if I weren't busy, I would certainly get the popcorn and head over to Poland Friday night to see this ball game because I think this one might be the game of the week for a lot of reasons. This has the makings of an unbelievably entertaining game on Friday night. Best of luck to you against Hubbard and as you conclude the season against Struthers and on into the postseason, and we'll catch up soon, Coach Williams.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate all you do for our kids, and keep up the good work, Ron.
I appreciate it, sir. Ryan Williams, the head football coach of the Poland Bulldogs, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline.